Hello, this is Tony Heller from RealClimateScience.com, setting the record straight about expert forecasts. During the 1970s, scientists were very worried about a new ice age. The cover of Science News on March 1st, 1975 was titled "The Ice Age Cometh," and they showed glaciers plowing through Manhattan. And at that time, they were having a major pine beetle outbreak in Oregon. Pendleton, Oregon, an invasion of the mountain pine beetle is killing 1 billion board feet of timber in northeastern Oregon. Both federal and private forecasters say nothing can be done to stop it, that all of that timber will be dead by 1986. So in 1976, experts predicted that all of the forest in northeast Oregon was going to be dead in 10 years. The trees, all lodgepole pine, represent enough lumber to build 100,000 homes. They cover 1 million acres, an area roughly the size of the state of Delaware. The Forest Service is considering a 21-year, $133 million project to remove the dead trees to lessen the chance that a massive fire will cause further damage. Now let's fast forward to the year 2020. The left-wing rag Daily Kos was celebrating the fact that YouTube had locked me out of my account for a week. It was a long article, but I just want to focus on one sentence. He's apparently immune to irony, as on Monday he complained about beetle kill logs blocking every possible route on his hike, apparently oblivious to the link between beetles killing trees and climate change. So Daily Kos says that beetles killing trees is due to global warming. But in 1976, beetles killing trees was coincident with global cooling, not global warming. And all the trees were supposed to be dead by 1986. Now let's fast forward to a more recent beetle invasion. Here's an article from March 24th, 2012. Study: Climate Prompts Beetle Population Explosion. About 10 years ago, there was a huge outbreak of pine beetles in Colorado and Wyoming. The beetles killed a lot of trees in the national forest near where I live and go hiking. The forest was massively overgrown due to decades of fire suppression, but the pine beetles came in and thinned the forest out. But unfortunately, there's a lot of dead trees down on the ground now. And these dead trees are a fire hazard, just like it said in the 1976 Global Cooling Pine Beetle article. The experts predicted in 1976 that the beetles were going to kill all the trees, but that's not how they work. They come in, they thin the forest out, and then they disappear. This is what the Medicine Bow National Forest looks like now, near where the giant Mullen fire is burning. This forest is a disaster waiting to happen, and it's happening right now. The forest is overgrown, it's too thick, and there's a huge amount of fuel on the ground. Pine beetles have been around for at least 30 million years, doing the same thing to forests over and over again. Here's a story from 1935. Forest expert describes ravages of pine beetle. No doubt most of you who visited the mountains during the past season noticed the alarming increase in the number of dead trees in the sugar pine ponderosa yellow pine belt. Some areas, notably above the pines at Bass Lake and Blue Canyon in the Kings River drainage, appear to have suffered very severe fires. In reality, no fires have occurred in these areas. The trees were killed by a small bark beetle, which has increased during the last few years to such enormous numbers that the forest cannot withstand their attacks. Here's another article from 1933. Destructive fires burn over an acreage of 41 million acres of forest lands each year, and 250 million board feet of lumber is killed annually by bark beetles in the California National Forest alone, and that during the past 10 years, billions of feet of timber have been killed by concentrated attacks of beetles. A couple of interesting things here. The 41 million acres of forest land which was burning each year is about 10 times as much as the amount of burn acreage in all of the United States this year. And the other is that there were massive beetle kills year after year out in the forest. They have nothing to do with global cooling or global warming. Experts who make these predictions, like beetles are going to kill all the trees, have no clue what they're talking about. That's not how the beetles operate. The beetles come in and they thin the forest, but what's happening now is because we've had so many years of fire suppression, the dead beetle kill lies on the ground, and when it does catch on fire, we get the massive fires which are occurring right now in Wyoming and northern Colorado. People on the political left always think that they know what causes beetles and they know what causes forest fires, but the reality is that they don't have a clue. Forest fires and beetles are both essential parts of the forest ecology. But humans come in and interrupt the natural occurrence of fires, and then when we do get really large fires, they blame climate change. These people in academia and the press speak very confidently about things they understand nothing about. Toto, on the other hand, spends just about all of his free time out in the forest, and he has a little bit better understanding of what's going on. Before I wrap this up, I want to re-emphasize something very important. It's just a matter of time until YouTube shuts me down completely. It could happen as early as this week. So I'm moving everything over to newtube.app. If you like my videos and want to keep watching them, the link for my new site where you can subscribe is included in the description of this video. And you can always visit Toto and Kyrie on the web at realclimatescience.com.